But it is very hard to look at the videos that we have been seeing from all across the country, and particularly this one video we're going to show you, which you may have seen, and not conclude that there is something deeply broken in the culture of policing in America, something that is at the core of the crisis this nation is now experiencing. Now, this is a really upsetting and graphic video, so be warned. In downtown Buffalo last night, 75-year-old Martin Gugino, who's a longtime peace activist there, approached a group of officers at a protest, just walking up to them. Here's what happened next.
He is leaking! He's out of his ears! He's out of his ears! He's bleeding out of his ears! Get him better!
That's just 15 seconds of that video that you saw. And in just those 15 seconds, that scene is an entire syllabus on how the culture of policing is broken. What has happened to it, how it operates, and how it has essentially created a whole that is worse than the sum of its parts. First, to begin with, you have an officer shoving an elderly protester entirely unprovoked for no earthly justifiable reason. Just pure escalatory violence, which results in a 75-year-old man hitting the ground with blood pooling from his head onto the concrete, as you see there. And then there's a moment where one of the police officers goes to help him, which, of course, is the natural human reaction. You can see one of the officers bends down to help. It's almost primal, the reaction, before another officer stops him, puts his hand on his back and pushes him forward. And I would bet to you that is the human reaction to stop and help that almost all of these officers would have if they were not in uniform in that circumstance. I have to believe if those officers you see there were walking down the sidewalk just as normal civilians and they saw someone push an old man and that old man fell and his head was bleeding on the concrete, they would probably stop to help and attend to the old man bleeding on the side of the street. But not in this context. In this context, that impulse, that human impulse, is literally yanked back. Physically, another officer pulls him back from helping the bleeding elderly man. And everyone there, all those officers, they are so focused on closing ranks in a literal and metaphorical sense that they either cannot recognize or will not recognize what their brethren just did and what humanity and compassion and serving and protecting is required of them in that moment. Nope. Instead, they are on war footing. And other than calling for a medic, which they do, they keep marching forward. And you may expect afterwards to see them walking to some huge sea of unruly protesters they are all geared up to face. But they just go after this one guy. There's barely anyone else even there. It's just a handful of people walking down the street. All of it is right there. The gear, the militarization, the warrior mindset, the inability to police each other, all the worst impulses succeeding over the best impulses. And then to top it all off, immediately after it happened, the Buffalo Police Department has the gall to initially claim that the 75-year-old man was injured when he tripped and fell, as though on his own. Even after 2 officers were suspended amidst the massive outcry, the police union president had the gall to suggest the man just slipped. Thankfully, Martin Gugino's attorney says he is now in serious but stable condition. But anyone who's been paying attention to the news knows this is far from an isolated incident. And this kind of violence that we're seeing there, it has been visited on African-American, Latino, brown and black folks for years, for decades, even longer.
According to our affiliate, police originally said that man tripped. After seeing this video, Buffalo's mayor immediately suspended those officers. We've also learned that Erie County's DA may file criminal charges, is looking into this right now. Governor Cuomo said after seeing that, it made his stomach feel ill.
You see that video, and it disturbs your basic sense of decency and humanity. Why? Why? Why was that necessary? Where was the threat?
We need them to be the guardians of the public, not warriors engaged in battle with the public.